Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with the SLR 722S Roadster. This is the Duality Cup prize, and I'm going to give you my take on this car. I'm doing a quick review on it because this car is not new, nor is the Duality Cup, so mine's already built. One of the biggest problems for this car is that this exists. And this was a milestone car, so it's a gold star. A lot of people have it, and quite honestly, at lower upgrades, upgrade per upgrade, the gold star is better than this purple star. So that is one of the biggest problems I have with this purple star, is that even though I built it, it is not as good as the gold star, at least at lower upgrades. The other problem with this car is that even with the lower upgrades, even with decent evo, it is not really a lobby killer of any sort. It gets a little bit of advantage, but not enough to significantly make a difference in live lobby. Sure, this car can win, there's no doubt about that, partly because not only does it lobby okay at low upgrades, it actually has the capability of beating dyno as well. So it is a winner car in that sense. It is a little bit harder, however, to keep it under your dyno on runs because it doesn't usually lobby with a huge amount of advantage. And then if you're running in the same lobby as the opponent's dyno as yours, some of those cars will either have lobby advantage or they may actually run faster than you in the same lobby and therefore take you out. So all these have to be considered. Sure, you can beat dyno and you win and do pretty well for the most part, but by doing that, you're risking eventually moving your car into faster lobbies, and we don't want that, right? We want a long-term, consistent live racer that can be used to keep winning without worrying a whole lot about bumping. That all being said, the car is capable of doing fine in live lobby. It's not one of those cars where you definitely have to push it really hard to just to squeeze the win out. It does have enough advantage at much lower speed lobbies that I could use it and beat, I would say, 70% of the cars. So this is like a C plus B minus ranking type live racer. Good enough, but not really outstanding in any way. Certainly nothing compared to the Gamera, and even a good, well set up Toyota GR Supra with full elite and full stars drop down to this lobby would definitely do better in many ways. But because of the way matchmaking is working, I have found that this car, even with its slightly higher performance point and not as high dyno, is able to at least face cars that it's competitive against. And that means a lot of potentially newer players with cars that may not be as good, may not be set up as optimally, so you can do okay. I mean, this is like the 11.5, 11.6 lobby, so I was able to squeeze a little bit of advantage out of this car at this lobby level. Not a huge advantage, and certainly not going to do that well against something like this if it's set up properly. That probably has a glitch tune, and therefore probably running like a 11.2 dyno and still be in this lobby. It may even be faster. It could get away with maybe a 11.0 dyno. So that makes it a much tougher competitor to deal with. The good news is that your SLR will shoot out of the hole fast with S6 trans setups and can maintain it pretty well. I am not going to beat that car because I don't want to bump my own car, and two, I think he would beat me anyway. As I said, 11.1 runs is not hard with that car in this lobby. Now, that doesn't mean that this is a 11.1 lobby. This is certainly not. So the Gamera did run substantially under the lobby bracket. Even then, though, with its lobby advantage, with the glitch tune, with the lower performance point, it's probably running something like 596, or even somewhere lower than 600 just for this lobby. Therefore, it is unlikely to be moved from one or two runs like that. And if you do a lot of runs like that, you could ultimately get bumped. But if he's racing mostly slower players and only does once or twice against me, he's not going to go anywhere. This Porsche, incidentally, is not terrible. We haven't had a great Porsche in the game yet, but this one actually is one of the better ones I've seen come along. If this is set up properly, that car will give me a nice run for my money. Now, when it goes like this, It could be slow loading. It could be he froze. There are any number of issues right now with the game, including a lot of crashing on my part. But it doesn't mean that I cannot succeed. I have to be very careful, and I have to deal with crashes. So, all right, so he didn't run really outside of the bracket that much. 11.5 is pretty much what I expected in the lobby. Again, this is somewhere between 11.5 to 6 lobby. Most cars in here will run 11.5s, 11.4s for dyno beaters, 11.6s for the not so well set up cars, 11.3s for the really well set up cars, and the super good cars with really crazy dyno beating plus huge lobby advantage could probably get away with the 11s to 11.1s. Those are hard to come by in this lobby. Now, know who you're up against and, play accordingly. Now, this Supra, again, I ran him earlier. That's a 11.4 car because he can probably run at least a tenth or two under dyno, much like my car could. So, doesn't mean that he's actually set up with a 11.3 dyno. He's probably running a slower dyno than that, but he's able to run pretty decently past his dyno and therefore get a decent run in against me. Doesn't mean that he's going to beat my car, but certainly push my car into the 11.4th on that run. Okay, he ran a little bit slower than the last time I raced him. All right, now that's enough discussion on that part. I've already shown you that it is capable in live racing. This is the setup I found so far that seems to do the best. As you get faster and higher performance point with this car, you lose lobby advantage very quickly. You're now relying on dyno beating to win, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so back in the garage, let's take a look at this car. No upgrading. I didn't upgrade everything simply because I know what parts are good for it and what are not. And based on polling parts using the Milestone Gold Star, I can get as many stage 6s as I want for this car with enough bronze keys, and I quite honestly went for some the ones I know are useful. So, transmission S6, S3, S4, S2. This is a standard setup for me. Yes, you can throw in these two in here. It'll add a little points and a low point there. It'll push you into about the 11.0 dyno to 10.9 dyno with turbo and intake added. But 10.9 actually doesn't get lobby advantage versus here sitting at 11.3. I am getting lobby advantage, and I'm not required to beat my dyno to win, right? So 11.397, 11.4. Now, this is where again, the Gold Star is better, and that's kind of a downer when it comes to getting a prize card that's a purple star, and your equivalent Gold Star will do better than the purple. A little bit of lagginess overall with the game recently, lots of crash, but okay, so same exact setup, parts-wise, at the same exact level of upgrades and fusion. You notice that the Gold Star does carry a little additional Evo points, and it still lobbies pretty well against opponents that it faces. Let me see where I am. This is not a car I necessarily want to run against. Probably will end up bumping me. Now, when you go from 11.39 to 11 low threes, like I have with this Gold Star, you are likely to get pushed into a different lobby. And certainly, you may see opponents that are a little bit faster, because 11.3s is one of the lobby edges, upper edge of 11.6, lower edge of 11.3. So it's a tricky lobby to actually be in with a car like this. So it almost pays to go a little bit slower in some ways. So as you can see, he's actually pretty close to me. I'm going to let him win because I don't want to run this fast. You can run 11.1s in this car, or 11.2s pretty easily, but you can see I'm actually at a disadvantage once I move to the Gold Star car that has a little bit more Evo at the same upgrade, simply because it bumped into a faster lobby. Now, I could move this car into a slower lobby by retuning it a little bit, or simply taking out an upgrade, which will bump me down as well. But despite the extra Evo here, despite having the same level of upgrade, that 397 dyno actually played to my advantage versus my low 3 dyno actually put me into the faster lobby where people can run 11.1, 11.2s on a regular basis. So that's, again, parts optimization and lobby matchmaking optimization to try to get the lobby edge. This pushed a little bit past the edge, and therefore it put me in a slightly less advantageous lobby. Not to mention I ran this car quite a bit before, so it could be simply that I bumped it. Now, I can tweak it a little bit this way and see if that'll put me somewhere where I can be competitive. Whoops. Let's see. Yeah. All right, so we'll put it in a closer dyno to the other car, and we'll see if it moves into a slower lobby. But again, upgrade for upgrade, the Gold Star carries better Evo, and therefore it's a little bit faster at the same level of upgrades. It's just that because of the lobby that it falls into, you may need to set up the Gold car with a little more parts altogether, pushing it into the 10.9, 10.8 range, running in the 11.1, 11.2 lobby instead. So here, I'm taking a look here. I see some decent cars in here, that's for sure. Not necessarily a lobby I want to be racing in. But let's go back and log in one more time, see what we get. Notice the Purple Star car actually got a lobby of cars that are easier versus this Gold Star. But then again, this Gold Star car does have more overall upgrades than the Purple Star. Oh, here's a Purple Star. I could just race him if he's available. But that's not really a special car as far as live racing. So that car I have a chance to do well against. It. This is obviously a car that beats dyno and has glitch tune. This one's pretty decent, but not super good. I could challenge him just to see what lobby I'm in. But understand, it carries better performance point to Evo ratio, and it's a tier 4 car, so it's actually going to give me a much greater challenge than I would probably want in this case. But let's go ahead and do it. So the SLR will run under its dyno time by a decent margin, especially with the setup that I've just done. I am way ahead, so I am going to slow down a lot. Make sure I don't bust my dyno trying to win. And that little bump put me into a much slower lobby where I'm now competitive. So that's just a side discussion. It really has little to do with showcasing the Purple Star car, but that's again a live racing tip. Cutting the lobby edge with the right car can give you right amount of advantage in the lobby, just enough to put you one lobby down versus a low 3 and a high 3 dyno, changing the dynamics altogether. All right, okay, so that wraps up my discussion of the SLR 722. This is again a viable live racer. Wow, game is extremely laggy. Okay, here we go. So they're both viable live racers. I have them in my live racer garages. But would I say these are great live racers? No. Is this prize car at least worth getting? It's such a cool car that I think it's, if you can, sure, get it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it. Is it a car that you're going to use a lot in live lobby with a lot of success? Probably not. It's okay though. With the lack of any decent Mercedes in the game, and I know it says McLaren, but that's a Mercedes symbol on the car. McLaren Mercedes SLR 722 Roadster is a usable live racer. Not great, and certainly more upgraded, might be even less competitive, but if you can get the prize car, it's not terrible. So that's it. I want to give you my take on this car and a little bit of live racing demonstration and tips on it. I hope you liked the video. Any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and like this kind of videos, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notified when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.